Ten songs from the 1970s. You've heard every single one probably 1,000 times. At a cookout, at a family reunion, on the radio while your parents drove you somewhere you didn't want to go. These aren't just songs. They're the soundtrack to a decade. And if you grew up in the 70s, they're burned into your memory so deep you can sing every word without thinking. You know the bass line before it drops. You know exactly where the song breaks because you didn't just hear these songs, you lived with them. Number 10, Parliament's Flashlight, 1978. Parliament, Flashlight, 1978. And if you were anywhere near a dance floor, a roller rink, or a house party when this song dropped, you already know that bass line hits and your body just moves. You don't even decide. It just happens. Here's what most people don't know. That legendary bass line, the one that defined funk for an entire generation, wasn't played by Bootsy Collins. Bootsy was offered the part. He turned it down flat, said no. So keyboardist Bernie Worrell had to figure it out. And what he did was wild. He daisy-chained 3 or 4 Moog synthesizers together and created one of the most innovative moments in funk history. Bootsy ended up playing drums instead. But here's where it gets even stranger. That chant, ha-da-da-dee-da, the one everybody in the room knew by heart. George Clinton reportedly lifted it from a Jewish bar mitzvah melody he overheard somewhere. The song literally made it onto a list of the 100 best Jewish songs. I'm not making this up. And if you were paying attention to the lyrics, you knew this wasn't just a party song. It was part of P-Funk's whole mythology. Star Child battling Sir Nose devoid of funk, a character too cool to dance. The live shows had a spaceship descending from the ceiling. It was a whole universe. Flashlight hit number 1 on the R&B chart, Parliament's first time ever at the top, and then it became the blueprint. That bass line has been sampled over 200 times. Dr. Dre built G-Funk on it. Detroit techno was born from it. Salt and Pepa, Digital Underground, Aaliyah, they all borrowed from it. You know how that goes. One song changes everything. Bernie Worrell, the guy who created that sound, died in 2016. George Clinton's still out here performing, and if you were at a party in the late 70s when this song came on, you remember exactly how the room felt. That's number 10. Number 9, the Isley Brothers. That Lady, 1973. That guitar solo, you know the one. It rips through the whole song like lightning. Now here's the part that'll stop you. Before he was Jimi Hendrix, he lived in the Isley Brothers' house, not as a guest, as their guitar player, 1964, 1965. He practiced in their living room every single day, and there was a kid in that house. Ernie Isley, watching, absorbing everything. When Ernie laid down that solo on That Lady, he was 19 years old, and people refused to believe it was him. Rumors started spreading that it was a secret Hendrix recording. Or some unnamed session player, because how could a teenager do that? But the truth was simple. Ernie had spent years watching a genius practice in his living room. He had a Fender Stratocaster and a Big Muff fuzz pedal he'd just discovered at a music store, and he channeled everything Hendrix had taught him without ever formally teaching him. And here's what makes it even better.
You is all that I can do. You tell me to pursue. You say
That Lady wasn't a new song. The Isley brothers had recorded it back in 1964 as a doo-wop number. It flopped completely. So 9 years later, they dusted it off and turned it into a funk rock masterpiece. Proving that black artists could cross any genre they wanted and own it. The song hit number 2 on the R&B chart, held off the top by Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On, hit number 6 pop, and decades later, Kendrick Lamar personally went to Ronald Isley's house to ask permission to sample that guitar line for his song I, won him a Grammy. Ronald and Ernie are both still alive, still performing. The Isley brothers hold a Guinness World Record for charting in 6 consecutive decades. 6! And if you've ever tried to explain this song to someone who didn't grow up with it, you know, some things you just had to be there for. Real talk, only 9% of you are subscribed. That hurts. We're spending hours digging through archives, fact-checking every detail, bringing these stories back to life. And if you're watching this far, you clearly care. So hit subscribe. It's free and takes 2 seconds. Now, to my subscribers, barely any of you have joined the membership. And honestly, that stings even more. You know the work we put in. You keep coming back. If these videos have ever made you feel something, if this music means something to you, join the membership. It's $1 coffee a month, and it's the only way we keep this going. Let's build this together. All right, back to it. Number 8, Barry White. Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe, 1974.
We share love, baby.
That voice. You know it the second you hear it. Deep as the ocean, smooth as anything you've ever felt. But here's what you didn't know. The man with the most seductive voice in music history was a teenage gang member. Barry White ran with the businessmen gang in South Central LA. At 16 years old, he got locked up for stealing $30,000 worth of Cadillac tires. Sitting in the cell, he heard Elvis Presley's It's Now or Never on the radio. And something clicked. He vowed right there he was done with crime forever. His younger brother Daryl wasn't so lucky. Killed in a gang dispute in 1983. And that voice, that impossibly deep bass, changed overnight when Barry was 14. He woke up one morning and it just dropped. He said it scared him and his mother. His chest rattled when he spoke. He wrote Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe for his wife Glodian in the middle of the night when he couldn't sleep. The song hit number 1 on both the Hot 100 and the R&B chart, replaced Eric Clapton, and it became bigger than just a song. It became a cultural moment. Years later, Barry White showed up on The Simpsons. Mayor Quimby introduced him as Larry White by mistake, and White recorded a brand new version of one of his songs specifically for that episode to help lure snakes to safety. If you know, you know. Barry White died in 2003, kidney failure. He was 58, sold over 100 million records worldwide, won 2 Grammys, got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame after he was gone.
Not enough, baby. Just not enough.
I mean, if this song was playing at your wedding or your parents' anniversary or a slow dance at a family gathering, you remember exactly how it felt. That's a different kind of memory.
No matter how I try.
Number 7, Chic, Good Times, 1979. That bass line, you've heard it a million times. Even if you don't know this song, you've heard it, because Good Times directly birthed hip-hop. The Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight, the first mainstream rap hit, used an almost identical bass line. Nile Rodgers, Chic's guitarist, heard it in a club and freaked out, threatened to sue. The result, he and Bernard Edwards got co-writing credit on Rapper's Delight, but it didn't stop there. John Deacon of Queen admitted the bass line for Another One Bites the Dust was directly inspired by Good Times. The song's been sampled or borrowed over 100 times. It's one of the most influential grooves ever put on tape.
Now what you hear is not a test, 'cause I'm rapping to the beat.
Now here's what's wild. Good Times hit number 1 in August 1979. It got replaced by My Sharona right around the same time as Disco Demolition Night in Chicago. You remember that? They blew up disco records at a baseball game. So Good Times was essentially the last great disco number one. The end of an era, but the lyrics weren't just about partying. Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards were writing about wanting a better world during America's recession and the gas crisis.
Why hesitate? You silly fool. You can't.
The song references Happy Days Are Here Again, a Depression-era song from 1929. They were being smart about it, hopeful in the middle of hard times. And if you know the story behind Le Freak, Chic's other massive hit, it makes this even better. Rodgers and Edwards got rejected at the door of Studio 54 on New Year's Eve, 1977. The original lyric was allegedly them yelling at the bouncer. They changed it to Freak Out, and it became the biggest selling single in Atlantic Records history. Bernard Edwards died in 1996. Nile Rodgers is still here, survived cancer, went on to produce David Bowie, Madonna, Daft Punk, and Chic has been nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 11 times without getting in as a group. More than any other act. Sometimes the industry just doesn't get it. Number 6, Curtis Mayfield, Superfly, 1972. The title track from the soundtrack that outgrossed the actual movie, one of the only soundtracks in history to do that. But here's the twist. Curtis Mayfield watched a rough cut of the film and called it a cocaine infomercial. He hated what the movie was saying, so he wrote lyrics that contradicted the entire message. The film presents the drug dealer priest as this suave anti-hero. Mayfield's lyrics warn about the devastating consequences of addiction. The movie and the soundtrack are at war with each other, and the soundtrack won. The album hit number 1 on both the Billboard 200 and the R&B chart. Sold over 200,000 copies in 10 days. The single Freddie's Dead hit number 4 pop, number 2 R&B. And Superfly defined the sound of blaxploitation cinema.
LD and just me for all junkies to see. Ghetto Prince is my...
Bobby Womack, James Brown, Willie Hutch, they all followed Mayfield's lead. Mayfield recorded the whole thing, 40-piece orchestra and band, in 3 days at RCA Studios in Chicago. 3 days. And the bass line, the percussion breaks, the groove, it all became foundational for hip-hop. Notorious B.I.G., Beastie Boys, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Erykah Badu, Beyonce, they all sampled from it. And here's what still gets me. On August 13th, 1990, Curtis Mayfield was performing at an outdoor concert in Brooklyn. A lighting rig fell on him, paralyzed from the neck down. He couldn't play any instruments, but he kept recording. He laid on his back and sang one line at a time, using gravity to help his diaphragm. That's how much the music mattered to him. He died in 1999.
In the bed, I'm your pusher man.
Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, once with the Impressions, once as a solo artist. And Superfly is in the Library of Congress, preserved forever. If you know this song, you know it meant something bigger than just the movie.
Ain't I clean, bad machine, super cool, super mean, feeling good for the...
Number 5, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Midnight Train to Georgia, 1973. That song about leaving dreams behind and going home. Now listen to this. The song started as Midnight Plane to Houston. Songwriter Jim Weatherly overheard a phone conversation, reportedly Farrah Fawcett talking to Lee Majors, and she mentioned catching a midnight plane to Houston. He wrote a song about it. Cissy Houston and Whitney's mother and recorded it first, changed it from Plane to Houston to Train to Georgia to give it more soul, more South. Then the song got passed to Gladys Knight, and she recorded her lead vocal in a single take in a small studio inside a Detroit parking garage. When she finished, everyone in the room stood up and applauded. The choreography, you know it. The synchronized steps, the pulling the train whistle move, it became so iconic that Richard Pryor did a sketch in 1977 where the Pips performed the whole routine without Gladys, just an empty spotlight on a microphone stand. It was hilarious and it was a tribute. That's how burned into the culture those moves were. The song hit number 1 on both the Hot 100 and the R&B chart, replaced the Rolling Stones' Angie, won a Grammy, got inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1999. And if this song was playing at a slow dance at a school gym or a wedding reception, you know that feeling. You know what it meant to watch someone leave everything behind for love. Gladys Knight is still here, still performing. She's around 81 now. Did a version of this song in Coming to America called Midnight Train from Zamunda. The Pips disbanded in 1989 after 37 years together. And if you grew up hearing this song on the radio, in your parents' car, at family gatherings, you don't need me to tell you why it's on this list. You already know. Number 4, Bill Withers, Ain't No Sunshine, 1971. That song with the line, I know, I know, I know, repeated 26 times in a row. Here's what you need to understand. When Bill Withers wrote this song, he was making toilet seats for Boeing 747 airplanes at a factory in Simi Valley, California. He was 31 years old, never had a hit, never had a record deal. And even after this song started climbing the charts, he refused to quit his factory job. He thought the music business was too unpredictable. His debut album cover shows him standing at the factory doorway carrying his lunch pail. That's who Bill Withers was. Now that I know part, that was never supposed to be in the final song. It was a placeholder. Withers planned to write actual lyrics there, but producer Booker T. Jones told him to leave it. And because Withers was just a factory worker, intimidated by all these experienced musicians around him, he listened. The placeholder became the most memorable moment in the entire song. Oh, and Stephen Stills of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young plays guitar on it. You probably didn't know that. The song peaked at number 3 on the Hot 100, number 6 R&B, won a Grammy for Best R&B Song in 1972. DJs flipped the record from the intended A-side because they heard something special. The label hadn't even seen it coming. Withers' follow-up was Lean on Me. That one hit number 1 on both charts. Got performed at presidential inaugurations for Clinton and Obama. Michael Jackson covered Ain't No Sunshine in 1972. And the song's been sampled and reimagined ever since. But here's the kicker. Bill Withers voluntarily retired from music in 1985, just walked away after 14 years, called A&R executives antagonistic and redundant. He was done, lived a quiet life until he died in March 2020 at age 81. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2015, Stevie Wonder inducted him, and both Ain't No Sunshine and Lean on Me are in the Grammy Hall of Fame. The song was added to the Library of Congress in 2024. If you've ever lost someone and heard this song afterward, you know it hits different. Number 3, Earth, Wind, and Fire. September 1978. The 21st night of September. You sang it in your head just now, didn't you? Here's the story. Co-writer Ali Willis was furious about Morris White's Badiyah lyric. She begged him to rewrite it with actual words, and Morris White's response was legendary. Who the fuck cares? Willis later said that taught her the greatest songwriting lesson of her life. Never let the lyric get in the way of the groove. As for that date, the 21st night of September, Morris White always claimed he chose it because it sang better than other dates. But his widow revealed in 2019 that September 21st was actually the due date for their son, Cabron, a personal detail Morris apparently never shared publicly. And here's what's wild. This song wasn't even recorded for a studio album. It was new material added to a greatest hits compilation to boost sales. That's it. And it became one of the most beloved songs in music history. Every year on September 21st, streaming spikes massively. Over 1.5 million streams in the U.S. on that day alone in 2021. A 322% increase from the day before. Comedian Demi Adejuyigbe started making viral celebration videos every year and turned the date into a modern holiday. The song hit number 1 on the R&B chart, number 8 on the Hot 100, and it's been inducted into the Library of Congress National Recording Registry. Morris White died in 2016 from Parkinson's disease. Ali Willis died in 2019. Earth, Wind, and Fire were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2000, won a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2016, sold over 90 million albums worldwide. And if this song came on at a cookout, a wedding, a block party, a family reunion, you know exactly what happened. Everybody moved, everybody sang, because some songs just make you feel good. Number 2, Stevie Wonder, Superstition, 1972. That clavinet riff, you know it before it even starts. But here's what most people don't know. Superstition was supposed to be Jeff Beck's song. The deal was simple. Beck would play guitar on Wonder's talking book sessions, and Wonder would write him a song in return. Beck came up with the opening drum groove during a jam. Wonder improvised the full song around it, recorded his version, then let Beck record his own. But Motown CEO Berry Gordy predicted it would be a smash, so he rushed Wonder's version to market months ahead of Beck. By the time Beck's version came out on his 1973 album, Wonder's had already hit number 1. Beck was reportedly furious about being scooped on what he considered his own song. And get this, Stevie Wonder played virtually every instrument on the recording, Drums, clavinet, moog bass, vocals. Only the trumpet and tenor sax were played by anyone else. Wonder came up with the track while on tour opening for the Rolling Stones in 1972. He was transitioning from Little Stevie Wonder child star to genre-defined adult artist. And in 1973, he performed a nearly 7-minute version of this song on Sesame Street. Treated that children's TV taping like a full concert with extended improvisations. It's one of the most legendary musical moments in the show's history. Superstition hit number 1 on the Hot 100 for 1 week in January 1973, number 1 on the R&B chart for 3 weeks, won 2 Grammys. And it kicked off Wonder's classic period, 5 albums in 4 years that are widely considered one of the greatest creative runs in music history. The only artist to win 3 consecutive Grammy Album of the Year awards. Stevie Wonder is still here, still performing. He played at the 2025 Grammy Awards, has 25 Grammys total, Presidential Medal of Freedom, Kennedy Center honors, over 100 million records sold worldwide. And if you heard this song on Soul Train, on the radio, in your parents' car, at a roller rink, you felt it. That groove gets in your bones. You don't understand yourself. Number 1, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, 1971. The most important R&B recording ever made. Here's how it almost didn't happen. Motown founder Berry Gordy called it the worst thing I've ever heard, refused to release it. So Marvin Gaye went on a recording strike. Wouldn't make anything until Gordy gave in. What happened next was extraordinary. Motown sales executive Barney Ailes secretly shipped 100,000 copies to record stores without Gordy's knowledge. They sold out immediately. Ailes shipped another 100,000. It became Motown's fastest selling single ever.
What's going on, baby?
And a stunned Gordy had no choice but to greenlight the full album. The song wasn't even Marvin's original idea. It was conceived by Ronaldo Obi Benson of the Four Tops. He witnessed police brutality at an anti-war rally in Berkeley, California. Tried to give the song to the Four Tops. They rejected it as a protest song. So it went to Marvin, and he turned it into something bigger. The album was recorded in 10 business days, released at the height of the Vietnam War. The perspective is a returning veteran witnessing injustice at home. Marvin's singing partner, Tammy Terrell, had just died of brain cancer. Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy had been assassinated.
Yes, I want to know that.
The whole country felt like it was falling apart. Mercy, Mercy Me on the same album was one of the earliest environmentalist messages in mainstream pop. Marvin received an award for promoting ecology. The album essentially invented the concept albums in R&B.
Talk to me, honey, so you can see.
Before What's Going On, Motown albums were collections of singles with filler. After it, artists demanded creative control. The single hit number 1 on the R&B chart for 5 weeks, number 2 on the Hot 100, blocked from the top by Joy to the World. The album hit number 1 and became Motown's best-selling album to that date. Rolling Stone named it the number 1 greatest album of all time in 2020. Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his own father on April 1st, 1984, one day before his 45th birthday, posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. The album is preserved in the Library of Congress, enshrined in the Grammy Hall of Fame. And if you lived through the 70s and heard this song, we really heard it, you knew something had changed. This wasn't just music, this was a message. This was truth.
So you can see